Alrighty, it's Dave. I'm going to go over my focus list for the week, starting off with ALL, Allstate. I'm on Trade Ideas here. As you can see, it gives us all of this very helpful information right at the top, so we don't have to search through it. Here's my single stock window, and I even have a picture-in-picture window here as well, which is pretty great when I'm looking at shorter-term time frames. All right, looking at you can see looking on the weekly, we can see this consolidation range here between 180 and let's call it 168, 170 or so. It broke that a few weeks ago, pulled slowly in a controlled manner, pulled back to the 10 and 20 EMA, and then it kind of broke out that downtrend line on Friday. Short float, nothing crazy. Days of cover, nothing crazy. This is just a nice structure play. Break out of these highs in consolidation and looking for rotation back on up. Next, ASTS. This guy was a mover in the past. As you can see, back in May, it was $3 and now it's 29. Pretty wild move. And so, what probably powered that? I don't know what the short float was then, but the short float now is 17.43%, and only 1 day to cover. But either way, that's a high short float percentage. Last week, I was saying, hey, this might be shortable, closer down to the 50 EMA. 50 SMA. It came close to it. However, it didn't really give me a buy signal personally until on Thursday and potentially Friday. So what I liked about Thursday, if you want to talk about buy signals, in my opinion, is this huge bottoming tail on volume. It broke this low. It's kind of covering the ground of this high volume bar here. And so it broke that low, kind of stopped out all the shorts at that level and then closed back, and then followed by Friday, another high volume day, and it closed up it was like 8%. 11%. So this thing kind of looks like it wants to continue on moving. If we wanted to, we can set an anchor VWAP from this prior high. Look where it tagged. It tagged that anchor VWAP base, looks like, to the very close to it, and so I'm looking for this guy. Maybe we get a pullback into here, and then maybe a little higher push on. I like this thing because it might start rounding and pushing higher, and a lot of people on social media like this. I don't know anything about this. I don't really care anything about this. I just care about what the charts and price tells me. CAH looks interesting. I wouldn't take action on it yet necessarily, because it is still pretty close to these prior highs. I would expect some supply, but it is chopping around here, kind of maybe going to set up a downtrend play, downtrend line break. Set up maybe the 110.70, this 20 EMA is in play. Not one of my favorites, but just watching it. Kava, I am still in this one. You can see that it again retested these highs, and it had a pretty decent pullback to it. If on Monday it doesn't start pushing away from this zone that I have here, the target, and if it accepts back in, target's going to be back to 118. My stop, I'm trailing this on a 10 EMA, so I'm not going to close it unless it closes underneath the 10 EMA, in which I'll end the trade and take my profits and run. But ideally, I would like for this to push up higher because it's got 12% short float, 5 days to cover. All right, CB. Interesting type of look here. Looking at the weekly, broke these highs, pushed stronger. This might be the pullback / kind of like time correction after breaking these highs here, letting the shorter term EMAs catch on up. Possible continuation. CHD. Looking at the weekly here, we got a nice, looking at you can look at the weekly. It found supply right here, where there's basically a supply zone at this 106 level, setting higher highs back at the daily. This area here was pretty important, in my opinion. This 102 level broke that on volume. Now it's coming back and retesting it. So it's kind of like an ascending triangle breakout and then retest of that, looking for a push on forward, just to show this 2% short float, 3 days of cover. We have CL, Colgate. Looking at the week, this is a nice simple just pull back to the 20 EMA play. Somewhat interested in it, not my favorite, but watching it. CNK continues just consolidating this super tight range here. I am interested in it in the break of the high of this range. I would like for it to break it, and then on a shorter time frame, maybe a 30-minute, 5-minute, come back and retest and then close above this. And I would also like this to happen on volume. You can see there was high volume here. Volume is slowly starting to dry up here. So I would go with what I would do if I enter this. I would go with the volume direction, whether it's short or long. And if it breaks down, I would not be shorting this thing because all the MAs are pointing upwards. So I would just sit on my hands if I were going to trade this, and just kind of let another setup happen. Coin. Looking at the weekly, it's still in a down trend line, lower low here. This could just be a bull flag. I'm not interested in longing this until these EMAs start to kind of level out here, and price. Maybe I would expect at least somewhat of maybe a 148, somewhat of a double bottom retest of that. So I don't think now's the time. If you wanted to, if you were a little bit riskier than I am, although this could be, it depends on what Bitcoin would do. This could be a nice short the 10 EMA here. And it's also coming up to this downtrend line. If it comes to the downtrend line, you can get a confluence of the downtrend line and the 20 EMA. It'd be pretty close to there. Let me zoom this in so you know what I'm talking about. So it'd be pretty close to that price range. So that could be a potential good short, but it's pretty volatile because it's crypto. So just be mindful. CPRX, I like this guy. Downtrend line broken. If we look on this day, nice volume pump, K followed by rest. This could, now everything's over the shorter term moving averages, 5.5% short float, 7 days to cover. CRMD, I keep missing this thing. I keep joking. I did send out a tweet the other day. Hey, watch that 7 high break. It broke that 7 high. However, it was a little weak. And it closed back down underneath it. So kind of maybe it needs to test this 640 again. I don't know. We'll see. But what I do know is this thing has an 18% short float and 10 days to cover. So it's most likely going to, I don't know, it'll most likely keep running. Looking at the weekly here, though. Look, nice volume last week where it found supply where it is anticipated to find supply. So I am not shocked. Maybe it chops around here to digest that supply and then continues on to move on upwards. Already, I think this is one of my favorites. Duke, I do like Duke. You can see here on the weekly, nice pullback to the 5 EMA. It just kind of rounded here. Nice on the weekly, 5 EMA on the weekly. Going back to the daily, we have some chop and grind around the 10 EMA, pulls back to the 20 EMA, and then breaks these levels, breaks the high, and now it's kind of testing the highs, and it pushed away on Friday. So what I would look for in this is an increased volume on Monday and then a further push higher. This is a pretty decent setup. I think you could enter this. Maybe I'll enter it. We'll see what Monday brings. But I think any intraday pullback, maybe to like 116.50, 116.75 with the stop loss underneath this bottoming tail, call it 115 flat. That could provide a pretty decent risk reward ratio. So we'll see. ENPH, I like TAN, the energy or the solar sector ETF. So those guys are kind of setting up here. Looking at this is higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high. So structure is slowly starting to change here. This is overall still kind of ranging and indecision. However, it could be setting up. EXEL, I like this one. Downtrend line break, nice break on volume. Green day, now it's just kind of chopping sideways, waiting for the 10 EMA to catch up. Look at this weekly. This weekly, huge pump here, gentle pullback to the 10 EMA on the weekly, and then a nice volume push off of that. This is one of my favorite looks for the week. EXPE, I was looking at this a couple of weeks ago, just waiting for basically what's happening now, sitting on my hands. So downtrend line break, nice push over it, not crazy volume on it, so I'm a little apprehensive about it. Overall, though, it is still in this range. So I think the more important level here to break is this 140 to 142. And ideally, it breaks on volume. It looks like it has potential to do that because look at the weekly here. Consolidation breaks down, comes back to that level, tests the consolidation, accepts back into it, tests that opposite range, fails to move forward. So it goes and breaks that level again. We get a close to double bottom. So now it's just in this range. It's just chopping around. It needs to break that 140 level and then hold it. It looks like it could do it because it tested it again. Nice little pullback with a nice bottoming tail on volume for the weekly. So I'm kind of looking at EXPE for a decent play there. FSLR, I did buy this in my longer term portfolio at like the end of, I think it was on Thursday. So, of course, follows the next day on 3%. Don't care. It's my longer term trade based on this look right here on the weekly. Nice bottoming, nice rounding bottom, breaks high, sells off, chops around the recent break area. Right. So if we look at this, chopping around, higher volume, seeming to accept around this area. So what I'm really looking for is a push higher. If it starts to move, my long-term portfolio will be happy. However, this might also be a shorter term swing trade for me. So this is also on my watch. FTAI, it's coming up on this prior resistance high here. This was a pretty nice look. If we open it up, I can set an anchor VWAP from this high. We have on Thursday, it pushed over, failed to come back down or retest it on volume. So it's looking like a pretty strong stock, 3.5%, 4 days to cover. Pretty decent. It's too extended for me personally. The weekly looks nice as well. If you look at this guy, it's just been grinding upwards. Dang, wish I caught this. It would have been great. But pretty close to an engulfing candle, green on volume there. So be mindful of that. Looks pretty decent. FTRE, I've been saying this is a short ever since, I was looking for this potential short it. It's just in the downtrend line. I'm not buying this. This is on my short watch, although I'm not confident I actually want to short in this market. It's just if their opportunity presents and the market says, hey, it's time to short, then I have it on my list to watch. Halo is a nice one I like. Let me blow it up for you. Downtrend line break. So we have a break of these levels here. Now we're coming back and kind of retesting them. Let me draw a line so it'd be a little bit easier to see for you. So I'm kind of looking at that. Can't quite get to it, but we have a nice consolidation level area about 60 to 58. So about $1.50 to $2 range here, chopping around, and then it broke out of that on volume. And it's nice and breaking that wedge. It was basically a pullback to the 20 EMA, chopped around underneath the 20 EMA. Now all the shorter term EMAs are curling upwards, came close to the 50 SMA. Short float. So this is just all signs of lack of supply, right? So short float, 8%, 9 days to cover. This thing might start moving again, especially if you look at the weekly down here. So that's a wash. This is part of the tan sector, looking at these highs that it broke. As of now, we'll see if it wants to hold those. Okay, so if we look here, price is now above that, and it did close above it, but we'll see if it will accept above it. There is indeed a difference. So if it comes back below that blue line and spends some time, the odds are that it probably will trade back into, call it that right here. Now that blue line, somewhere around there. So this is not one of my favorites on the tan, but just watching it. HUT, this is another crypto play. Not necessarily looking along it, although setup might be decent. It's just on my focus list just in case crypto has a big move or something like that. KMB looks interesting. This is a pullback to the 50 SMA play for those of you that like it. So they kind of respected it here. It does like the dip below it and spend some time underneath it. So it broke the highs, kind of failed to hold this. It could be a 50 SMA, not one of my favorites, but it's there. KO, I do like KO. Looking at the weekly here, we can see it broke these highs. And then if we want to zoom in even more, it consolidated for these, 3-ish weeks here, broke that, and then on volume had a follow through with some gentle selling. And now it kind of looks like it's coming back to retest that breakout area. It's coming back to 20 EMA, nice consolidation. This 70, 50-ish level likes to hold. So I'm looking for a push away, and then nice stop loss would like 70, 25 could be pretty decent if it breaks these 72-ish area. So I'd be looking for KO at that. LNTH. This isn't just a nice rounding bottom area, respecting the 50 SMA 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it kind of broke this downtrend line. We shall see what price will do here. Let's see, MasterCard hitting these highs, nothing too crazy. It's above that level there. We'll see if there's follow through. Mara, another crypto look for me. It's just kind of in a downtrend line still. It's not my favorite, but I keep it on my focus list just in case something happens in crypto. I have somewhat of an idea where these things are at. All right, McCormick, we have weekly here, broke this kind of, it is in an uptrend here. Okay, broke that resistance around 77 and is continuing on upwards. It's just kind of grinding up this 10 EMA. So it would be a 10 EMA play if I took it. MNKD, Mankind, nice downtrend line, kind of a rounding cup area. Oh, actually, I don't like how that downtrend line is drawn. It's kind of a rounding bottom pullback, price correction to the 10 EMA, and it's kind of respecting the 10 EMA. 15.5% short float, 15 days to cover. If it breaks these highs, look at the weekly. I like that weekly look. Big volume, big price move, kind of consolidating, accepting, chopping around that price move. And then if it breaks that 60.44 level, somewhere around there, it has a decent chance of continuing, I think. MO Ultra Group. This is a nice pullback to the 20 EMA play. MSTR, another Bitcoin play, just kind of chopping, have it there for the same reasons. Nova, look at the weekly. I like this guy. It is over the 50 EMA over the shorter term. The 200 50 SMA. The 200 SMA is on the weekly. This is around 1630, so it might have some room to run up to that, especially as it breaks. If it breaks these highs around the 5 SMA weekly, and which is basically a pullback to the 20, pullback to the 10, prices going higher and higher here, right? If you want to see short float 33, 34%, and then volume. So Nova, part of TAN, this is one of my favorite setups for this week. So I'm going to put that on my favorite list. NVIDIA, just kind of watching nice engulfing week on volume. Typically, those have some upside to it, so we'll see. NXT, also part of TAN, nothing particular. I just have these just on because I like the TAN's, the look of it. I don't necessarily like NXT a lot. Look at the weekly. Nice rounding bottom. Broke that, came back, retested it. Okay. Nice engulfing week last week on volume. Tag of the 10 EMA, weekly EMA. Here's on the daily, pull back, nice rounding bottom, respecting the breakout area, pull back to the 20 EMA, nice shakeout, big bottoming tails. There are buyers here, right? That's what that tells me. And so I am in this trade, and it's working rather nicely for me. I bought on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. I think I bought here on the 9th. And so I've been holding it since the 9th, and I have this nice move here. I was looking for the break high here. Obviously, I would like for this to continue with a 15% short float, 7 days cover. So I'm going to follow trade management there. I'm going to follow the 10 EMA. PGR, nice consolidation break, nice bottoming tail, 10 EMA play here. Short float, nothing crazy, just a nice structure play. If it wants to continue on the weekly, I wouldn't be shocked either. PM, nice 20 EMA, 10 EMA pullback, looking for a break of these highs for a potential setup there. See how nice and easy I can set alerts with trade ideas. Right, another Bitcoin play. I'm not going to waste my time on it. RKT. I like this guy here, 13% short float, 4.5 days of cover. It's had a nice move on the weekly, especially after it broke this level here. Let's just call it 16 to round up. It just ripped ever since 16. And now it's just slowly kind of flagging, doing a little time correction, slight price correction to 20 EMA, close to the 50 SMA. And now on Friday, we get a nice volume pump, green, It does tag that upper trend line, but maybe we get some chop and then it breaks on volume. That would be nice. That's what I would be looking for an entry here. RTX kind of has this downtrend line look going, kind of wedging. Let me zoom. Yeah, it's kind of wedging here. I kind of like this look. Just waiting for it's tagging the 20 EMA. It is under the 10 EMA, but either way, I mean, it's getting close. I feel like it has to break one way or the other sometime soon. So I'm actually going to set a price alert around here to see what happens there. Run. I do like run. Nice bottom and tail. Bounce off the 50 SMA. Volume on this green candle. Some price exception. Chop consolidation sideways. Looking at the weekly for run. Here we go. It tags that 200 SMA. Pulls back to the 20 EMA on the weekly, close to the 50. It's getting over the longer term. So longer term, this looks like it could start turning out a little bit. You can see that it is indeed an uptrend. It hit this prior resistance area. So I'm not shocked that we got supply here. Let me get this. I'm not shocked we got supply here, right? We get a pullback, nice 50. So we just need to continue to monitor higher highs, higher lows. I do like that setup. SATS, SATS, didn't mean to do that. This is a nice little setup here. I think when I was looking at, I don't like it right now, actually, simply because looking at the weekly, we can see that it is coming to this supply area here. Let me draw it out for you real quick, make it easy to see. Boom, that blue line, it's tapping that. It's had two huge weeks, 1768 to nearly 24 and a half in 2 weeks. I mean, it could keep going. 11.5% short float, 8 more days to cover. The daily looks pretty decent. I'm not super interested in this. I could see maybe a little bit. I mean, dang, I don't know. It got some volume here. Maybe it pulls back to this level. I don't know. I'm not chasing it. I wish I if I was going to get in it, if you were to get in it, in my opinion, this would have been the entry right around here on that huge volume push, big price push, pullback, price correction close to the 10 EMA. You put your stop right around here, and then you ride the wave. Of course, hindsight is always 20/20 in these markets. Starbucks, I have this in my long-term portfolio, which I will go over someday, just not now. You can see big gap up. Pretty sure that was earnings. Failed to fill that gap. Darn, pretty close to basically a double bottom here. So there's no supply. No supply. Where does price go? Quickly to the opposite range. Broke these highs. It may have closed over it. If not, it closed darn close. So maybe we get a little bit more supply here. And then maybe it pulls back to the 10. You can see it tags 1, 2, close to 3, 4 times at this level now, right? Maybe it pulls back to the 10, maybe the 20 that's at a higher low, and it continues grinding up. I like Starbucks on a pullback. SFM, just kind of watching this, see what happens here. I'm watching for a break of the high. This isn't as neat as I like it. It's grinding up the 20. I took the trade around here for earlier in late August for a decent gain, but I'm sorry, it was actually a small gain. I'm not super interested in it right now. What is this? Surgery Partners. I like the downtrend line, pull back to the 200 SMA, to the 50 SMA. Price got a nice little volume pump on Friday. It broke the downtrend line. It hit this resistance area, so we shouldn't be, or prior area of supply, so we should not be surprised that we got some, especially after that huge move. And so maybe it goes back to retest that to see if there's any supply. Maybe it pulls back and chops around and then continues on up. It could take some time to set up, but looks decent with 15 days to cover and a 15% short float. Sorry, I'm trying to make these quick, but whatever. Shark Ninja, you guys can always speed this up anyways. 7.5% short float, 3 days to cover. I'm not going to get in this. I missed the boat on this. I just like watching it. It's a beautiful 10 EMA trend play. TAN, this is what I was talking about sector wise. Nice potential double bottom here. Otherwise, it is kind of ranging. Either way, potentially starting to set up here. Tesla, good old Tesla. I love Tesla. Always watch Tesla. This thing looks like it is getting pretty tight, and it probably has a move coming. I missed this. I'm a little annoyed at myself that I missed it, but it is what it is. I was literally, if I can get this on here, I was indeed watching for this downtrend line break, and I was waiting here for a retest and a push away. I should have entered on this day. I didn't, and then I missed this entire move. So what I'm actually looking for is a break of this 234.50-ish level. Because that has been tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish times now. Bids were dropped here, right? Because there's obviously enough supply. So I'm kind of waiting for that. I'm trying to catch a bigger move. I'm not going to be nitpicky super right now with that. Tesla long term is also my long term portfolio. V for Visa breaks those highs, pull back, huge bottom tail to the 10 EMA, continuing on up. Nothing crazy short to cover. Days to cover, short float. Next, VTR. I'm not going to enter this thing. It's just a slow grinder. I said something on 816 about it, never entered. And, obviously hindsight, I regret it. Vizio, I've been watching this thing for a little bit. 28% short float roundup, 9.5 days to cover roundup. It is now under the shorter term EMAs and coming up to the 50 SMA. So what I'm kind of looking for here is maybe we start to break this downtrend line. However, there is supply. But what I do like about this is that short float. So I'll just continue to watch that. WHD, I think I said this was a potential short. In my opinion, still is a potential short. It's underneath the supply coming back. This could be a decent entry for a short up here under the 50 SMA, under the shorter term EMAs. Just make sure you have a stop loss. I'm not interested in shorting in this market right now, though. Just in case the market says, hey, it's time to short, then I'm prepared to do it. WVE, I think I found this today, 6% short float, 6 days to cover. Nice little volume pump on a big, large green day. Kind of hit this level of resistance where supply was found last time. So it goes to test that. Now it's kind of flagging on a gentle pullback over the 50 SMA, over the 10 20 EMA, over the 5. So nice consolidation here. Big move, flagging, and then going to look if we break this. Going to look for a retest of that supply area of 680-ish, somewhere around there. Alrighty, Zeta. Look at the weekly. This thing has just been ripping. This is a nice grind up the 10 EMA, pulled back to the 20 EMA. I thought it was going to fail here. Got a video. It's on video. High volume. Thought this could have been, everybody's getting in. Who else is left to buy? Followed by an engulfing red bar. And then, a couple of days of failed follow through. However, 3 grain days straight up, broke these highs, closed at highs. So I'm going to change my view here. Looks like it wants to continue on higher and watch it reverse on me. Zoom, I do like Zoom. Zoom, I think, is one of my favorite looks. High volume after earnings, gentle downtrend line, broken, starting to consolidate and go sideways. So price correction down to the 20 EMA here. And then Friday, we get an engulfing green candle over that red. Not super high relative volume on that. However, I do like the 4.5% short float and the 394. Looking at the weekly, if we zoom in here, it's kind of in that phase 1 consolidation phase. And if it wants to pump up here, it's over the 50 SMA for the first time in a long time. Pulling back to it, and maybe this could be a potential longer term. I don't know debts or anything like that, but current debt $64 million. How much cash do they have? Oh, they have a really nice cash to debt ratio, actually. Price earnings, current debt, cover, cash debt rate. Oh, dang, they got a lot of cash on hand, actually. I might add this to my long term portfolio. Send to, there we go. So I got symbols listed. I can just easily click on and just send it to my my fundamentals and weekly setup. I'm actually going to look into Zoom for a longer term play here. All right, yeah, that's my focus list for the week. Good luck to you. Stay safe. I hope these are helpful. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy. If it's too long, just wash these on 1.5, 2 times speed. I might sound funny when I talk, but yeah,